Hi, hello, vanakkam and welcome to the First Step Academy Learn and Grow Educational Medium. Today, in this video, we are going to see about ratio and proportion. First, we'll see ratio. Ratio. Ratio is a comparison of two quantities, right? By comparing those two quantities, what we will get? Of course, by comparing those two quantities, we can clearly express how the one changes with respect to or compared to the other one, right? For example, if A is the one quantity and B is the other quantity, then by comparing A and B, we can clearly say how the A is changed with respect to B. Right? Fine. So those expressions can be represented in three different forms that we are calling as a ratio, right? A comparison of two quantities generally called as ratio. Those ratio can be represented in three different forms that we represent here. A is to B. This symbol we are calling as is to, or A by B, or A to B. So in these three different forms we can express the ratio. As I said, by using ratio we can clearly express how the one change with respect to other. As I said that A is the one quantity and B is the other quantity, in the sense how the A is changed with respect to B, that we can clearly express. We'll see the case study later. Meantime, we should know about certain properties of this ratio. By knowing these properties, you can clearly express and you can clearly solve the problem if they give under this topic, right? Fine. What are the properties? The first property they are representing here as a ratio has no unit. Of course, ratio has no unit, it's a number. How, in the sense, look at this different form, A is to B or A by B or A to B. As I said, I am taking this A by B, right? A by B. For example, if the two ratios are A divided by B, look at the numerator and denominator. So numerator has one unit and denominator has one unit, and if we are when we are expressing the ratio in this form, definitely this numerator unit and denominator unit will be cancel each other. Provided, look at the second property that is more related, more linked to the first property, that the two quantities of a ratio should be of the same unit. If it is a same unit, then only will cancel each other, right? Yeah, of course, same unit, in the sense, for example, if they are giving a distance of A is 1 meter and the distance of B is belongs to 1 centimeter, then we could not directly we could not directly express the ratio between A and B here, because look at the unit, one unit is in meter, the other unit is in centimeter. So now we have to either change this meter to the centimeter or centimeter to the meter. By the way only we can express the ratio called A by B. Also, the ratio should be expressed between the same kind. That is also important. Between the same kind means, for example, if we want to express the ratio between the distances, then will be okay, or between the weight, then will be okay. But with respect to the two different category, between the distance and between the weight, we could not express. Hence, ratio can be expressed between the same kind, right? Hope you understand. Fine. Look, next property is each number of ratio is called term, right? Look at, as I said, that ratio can be expressed in this form called A is to B or A by B or A to B. Here A and B generally we are calling as term, right? Each number of ratio is called term, where here A is called antecedent and B is called consequent. A is called antecedent, that is called a front number, where B is called consequent, where the number following the antecedent. right? So that is the other property called each number of the ratio is called term. Next property is order of terms in the ratio cannot be reversed. That much important. So look at here, as we are expressing the ratio is A is to B, hence expression should also be A is to B. We should not reverse this as B is to A, because A is to B is not equal to B is to A, right? So anyway, we will see during the case study, we'll see about this also, right? Fine. Just remember, order of the terms in a ratio cannot be reversed. That's much important. Next, a ratio can be written as fraction. Of course, the form already we have discussed, that can be expressed A by B, definitely. A numerator is exist, denominator is exist, definitely the ratio can be expressed as fraction. Also, ratios are mostly written in the simplest form. Means as much as reduced form we have to express, we can express, right? This is also we'll see during the case study. So we have seen now what do you mean by ratio and what are those properties. So once again, properties that I am going to read you. A ratio has no unit. The two quantities of ratio should be of the same unit, and ratio can be expressed between the same kind, and each number of ratio is called term. Order of the terms in a ratio cannot be reversed. A ratio can be written as fraction. Ratios are mostly written in the simplest form, right? Now we'll take up a case study, a simple case study, not a complicated one. So with that we can clearly know about it, right? Fine. Okay, we'll take a simple case study. That assume that there is a bowl. Inside the bowl there are 12 fruits. In the 12 fruits there are 8 apples and 4 oranges. Now if question arises that how many oranges are being there inside the bowl compared to apples, this is a question, right? Then directly we can go for the ratio. So I'm going to find ratio between oranges to apple. Why the ratio between oranges to apple? In the sense, the question is how many oranges are being present inside the bowl as compared to apples. So now, hence, if the question is based on orange, then I have taken the ratio between oranges to apple, right? Now, how many oranges are there inside the bowl? 4 oranges. And how many apples? 8 apples. Now look at 4 is to 8. This is the ratio between oranges to apple. And also look at the terms, both are even numbers and both the numbers can be divided by the common number called 4. Hence I am cancelling each other. 1 4 is 4 and 2 4s are 8. This is we are calling as simplest form or reduced form. So the ratio should be expressed in the simplest form. This is one of the property as we have seen earlier. So the ratio between oranges to apple we found that is 1 is to 2. In other way, this ratio can be expressed as A by B format, right? Here A is 1, B is 2. So 1 by 2, that is the ratio. Now we'll come to the answer, and question is how many oranges are being present as compared to that of the apple. Now look at how many oranges are being present. Half of the oranges are being present as compared to that of the apples. So the ratio can be expressed as oranges to the apple is 1 by 2. This is exactly the ratio. So as compared to that of the apples, exactly half of the oranges is being present. This is the answer for this. If you want to verify it, just bring it this apple to this side. Hence it will become a multiplication product. So oranges is equal to 1 by 2 into apples. So how many apples there inside the bowl? 8 apples. So if I am substituting 8 here, we'll cancel these two. 4 2s are 8. Hence, how many oranges are there? 4 oranges are there. That exactly we got it now. This is cross verification. That's it. But answer is the ratio between oranges to apple is 1 by 2. Exactly what it expresses in the sense 1 by 2. Half of the oranges is being present as compared to that of the apple in terms of quantity, in terms of number. So 8 apples are there, 4 oranges are there. So with respect to the number, exactly half is present, right? So okay, as I said that order should not be reversed. That's one of the property we have seen, right? So now look at here, ratio between oranges to apple we found here. By the way, if I am changing the order, ratio between apple to oranges. Now, how many apples are being there? 8 apples are being there. How many oranges? 4 oranges are being there. Now, both are even number again. Will be cancel each other by the common number called 4. Now, when we cancel, this is 2 4s are 8 is to 1 4 is 4. 2 is to 1. It means that the ratio A by B. Here look at, in the previous case, oranges is A, apple is B. Now here the order is reversed, hence apple will become A, oranges will become B, right? So now A by B can be expressed as 2 by 1. It means that inside the vessel there are the apple, so twice the oranges apple is being present in terms of quantities, right? How many time is much means more the apple as compared to that of the oranges? That can be expressed in this form where twice the apples are being present as compared to that of the oranges. By the way, by cross verification that we can do, A is belongs to apples, so apples I am writing here. B is belongs to oranges, I am writing here. So ratio is 2 divided by 1. Hence oranges will come this side, will become multiplication. So apples is equal to 2 into, how many oranges are there in the bowl? 4 oranges. So 4 I am writing here. So 8. So total number of apples are 8. Only this is the cross verification. But when we are reversing the order, the meaning will become different. That's what one of the property we mentioned it. Order should not be reversed, right? So this is one of the simplest case study. Also, as we said that units should be same. If it is a meter, again both the terms should possess only the unit called meter, and we should compare, or we should express the ratio between the same kind. That is also one of the important properties, right? Hope you understand what is ratio, what are their properties, and how we have to approach to express the ratios, right? Fine. Now we'll see now about different kinds of ratios. The first one is called duplicate ratio. If a ratio is given as A is to B, then its duplicate ratio can be expressed in the form called A square is to B square. If a ratio is being given in the form called A is to B, its duplicate, look at duplicate, the other one. Hence, the duplicate ratio can be expressed as A square is to B square. Next one, subduplicate ratio. Subduplicate ratio can be expressed as, if the ratio is A is to B, then that if they are asking to find out the subduplicate ratio, in the sense we have to find square root of A is to square root of B. So if the ratio is A is to B, then its subduplicate ratio is square root of A is to square root of B, where square root in other way that we can write as A power 1 by 2 is to the same way B power 1 by 2. This is we are calling a subduplicate ratio. Next, triplicate ratio. Triplicate ratio is when if the ratio is A is to B, then its triplicate ratio can be expressed as A power 3 is to B power 3, means A cube is to B cube, thrice, right? We have to do. So A cube is to B cube. This is twice the amount, this is thrice the amount, right? Fine. So if the ratio is A is to B, then if they ask us to find the triplicate ratio, then we have to use this form called A cube is to B cube. Next one, sub-triplicate ratio. As like sub-duplicate ratio, sub-triplicate ratio is, if the ratio is A is to B, then its sub-triplicate ratio is cube root of A is to cube root of B. Whatever the ratio they have given, we have to find cube root. Where in sub-duplicate ratio, we have to find square root. In triplicate ratio, means sub-triplicate ratio, we have to find cube root. Anyway, cube root can be expressed in another way, that A power 1 by 3 is to B power 1 by 3. A power 1 by 3 is to B power 1 by 3. Fine? Right. Next, final one in the ratio part, called compounded ratio. If two ratios has been given, means are given, A is to B and C is to D, then its compound ratio can be expressed as a product of antecedent is to product of consequent. Right? Already we have seen here in this ratio there are the two terms. The first term is called antecedent, the second term B is called consequent. If two ratios are given, then its compound ratio can be written as product of antecedent is to product of consequent. That is, we are expressing here antecedent is A and C in these two ratios. So A into C, product means multiplication. So A into C is to product of consequent. Here in these two ratios, consequent is B and D, hence B into D. So A into C is to B into D represents compounded ratio. Fine. Hope you observed different kinds of ratio in this part. Hope you understand about ratio. Next, we are going to see about proportions.